Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Bakes in a Box, the podcast where we talk about baking, business, and being functional adults, even when we don't want to.
This podcast gives you fly-on-the-wall access to conversations that two busy entrepreneurs would have on a regular basis. A little bit of whinging, a little bit of whining, and also some helpful tidbits to use on your baking journey.
Find out how two best friends ended up running businesses just down the street from each other. From baking and making the things that we love to how to navigate the cutthroat wedding industry, we cover it all.
It's time for another episode of Bakes in a Box. Let's get into it.
Okay, so we've had some complaints.
Already? It's already begun.
We've had some complaints about our sound not being loud enough.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to reiterate. Yeah. It's just we not a sound engineer. Okay? I'm not a sound engineer. What I can tell you is that our waves are a little bit bigger this week already.
Yes, they are.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to hope, pray, wish with all wishes that the sound will be fixed.
Yes.
But I promise nothing, because I'm a pastry chef. I'm not a sound engineer, and I'm really just doing my best. Okay.
I mean, I listened to it and I thought we sounded just fine, but I mean, it may depend on what you're using to listen it to on. And
yes,
you know, we were definitely figuring things out in the first couple episodes, and
I'm sorry.
So hopefully things will be better now.
Like, for instance, has a third episode been released yet? No. Why? Because I have an echo situation that I can only solve by deleting everything that the non-speaker is not saying. Like when they're quiet, like if I'm talking and Jess is quiet, there's a wicked echo. But if I go and delete all the silence on Jess's end, then it's fine. But we love to affirm each other when we're talking.
Yes.
So there are, exactly.
I just did it.
There are yeses and and everywhere, and I don't want to delete those because then it's going to sound like the person speaking in a vacuum, and I'm
just so many things.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah. Also, remember when we started this, we're like, oh yeah, we'll be able to do 2 episodes a day, right?
What a gag.
Who's that girl? I don't know.
Have you ever met anyone who's delusional? Okay, because that's
us.
Jess and I are both also making sure that we are nice and hydrated, and we also have a tiny little container of
cute little picture
chocolate in front of us because it's Halloween this week.
It is Halloween this week.
Have you done anything Halloween-y yet?
Yes, in the shop we've done some cookies and Rice Krispies on sticks and things like that the kids really love.
I actually did see photos of those, and I was like, that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but I didn't do it. One of my workers did it, so it's fine. And of course, we'll have we have cake pops and cupcakes that are going to be out in the shop. So people are already like, what Halloween cupcakes are you going to have? And I'm like, can we focus on next week? Just come in when it's Halloween and I'll show you. I know.
What do you have that's available for Halloween? If you come into the store on Halloween, you'll see them.
You'll see what we got.
Well, I want a plan. Your backup plan can be the grocery store. You're welcome. You know what to do.
What are you going to do? Oh, are you going to turn so that we can look at each other?
Da, 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 turn, turn, turn. What song is that?
Did every season turn,
look, you know the words.
Turn.
That's one. That's
right?
what I think of.
If my mom is listening to this, she's going to be singing the song.
Is she going to love it?
She's going to love it too. This is great.
I also have a blanket on.
We both have blankets on. It's nice. It's super comfy.
Sometimes I'm really rude with people. They'll be like, oh, can I have a cake at 1 o'clock today? Or for the evening today? And I'm like, okay, so it's 1 o'clock now.
Yeah.
For you, what time does evening start? When would you want to pick up this cake? And we're like, well, maybe like 5. Okay, so you want me to take about 20 minutes right now to figure out what it is that you want. Then at 1:30 begin scaling out the ingredients for the cake that you want. Mix it, put it in the oven. Let's be generous and say I can do that in 45 minutes. Depending on what you want, I have no idea. You've not told me anything except that you want a cake. Okay, 45 minutes to do that. Then I'm going to take your cake out and I'm going to cool it. At least let it sit on a cooling rack until it's cool enough to ice. I don't know, an hour and a half. Okay, so we were at 2:15ish, and then we add an hour and a half to that. We're at 3:45. You want to pick it up at 5, and you want me to then torte your cake, fill your cake, decorate your cake, and get that all done so that you can come and pick up your warm, freshly iced cake at 5 o'clock. But overarching, it would require me to stop everything,
whatever you're doing, stop
that I'm doing right now, and start doing what you want me to do. I'm happy to do it, but the cake will be $700 because I'll be annoyed the entire time. And there's like a pita fee, a pain in the tushy fee that you'll have to pay. And the fee for the cake, probably $100, you know, depending on what you want. The cake might be $100. The pain in the ass fee, $500.
Yeah.
I'm not just stood around waiting, hoping,
please, I hope
wishing.
somebody would place an order.
Yeah, right.
I got nothing to do. Been staring at this wall.
Very this. I'm like, I don't understand what you don't understand. Like, don't you have cake in the freezer? Why in God's name would I have cake in the freezer? For what? Again, a situation where I'm hoping and wishing that somebody calls the last minute order. No, we have our grab and go cakes in the freezer. Yeah. That's where we keep them. Yeah. If you want to grab and go, you can come and get a grab and go cake. Really hoping for something customized. Oh, I'm sure the person that you're celebrating this birthday for really hope that you would have remembered before the day of their birthday.
If only there was a way we knew, like, can you imagine if we knew like a year in advance when somebody's birthday was coming?
I wouldn't know what that would be like.
How outrageous. Anniversaries, like if only they came the same day every single year so that you can make a plan.
Honestly, that would be so hectic. I would have never guessed. I would have never guessed the number of husbands.
Oh, yes.
It's my wife's birthday today. And when did you find out about that, sir? You married this lady. Mm-hmm. And you just found out on today that it's her birthday. That it's her birthday today.
You have other issues you need to resolve other than finding a cake.
I wouldn't want to be your wife.
Yeah.
I'd actually be... James. Yeah. Jameson, listen to me. Jameson, listen to me. We've been married 1 year. You've never missed a birthday yet. But my God, if I ever find out that you went to go and get me a cake or something on the day of my birth to give to me, you're dead to me. You're dead to me.
I completely understand and I sympathize when people are like, oh, this completely got away from me, or like plans changed, or we were supposed to have the birthday on this date and then this happened. I sympathize. But the people that come in and they're like, oh, I want a cake. They'll just call and like, I want a cake. Okay. For when? For this evening. But I don't need it until like 6 o'clock. Oh.
Well, in that case.
Okay. Well, sorry. And they'll say the same thing to me. Like, don't you have cakes in the freezer? On the off chance that we have cakes in the freezer, because sometimes it happens where we bake the wrong size or we bake the wrong flavor, so we just wrap it up.
Or you already bake and then somebody calls you and they're like, can I change? And you don't want to be a jerk, so you say yes, but the whole time you're just like really mad about it.
Anger. Sometimes we do, but like, what are the chances that you want that 7-inch chocolate coconut cake?
Yeah.
Is that well, we're really hoping for we're really hoping for an eggless red velvet. Okay, well,
get out. Oh, do you have any other flavors? Bro, what?
You're the one that's calling for a last minute cake, and now you want to argue with me about what options I have for you?
2:30 on a Saturday, we close at 3.
Can you make a Toy Story themed?
Do you have any cakes? And we're like, yeah, we have our grab and go cakes. We have, chocolate and funfetti. Yeah. Ooh, really hoping for a lemon.
Well, those weren't any of the options that I just said to your face.
So we have a chocolate and a funfetti. Is there any chance, hey, we close in half an hour. Are you going to be able to make it here before we close?
Yeah.
Are you even going to, whilst you're arguing with me on the phone, are you going to be able to make it here before we close?
We're in Kitchener, and depending on where you are, it takes you 20 minutes to get anywhere within city limits. Yeah. So are you even going to be able to get here
before we continue the conversation? Are you coming? Are you already in the car? You're around the corner calling and asking? Yeah. That's fine. Yes. No judgment. Yes. But like, if I give you 2 options and you're like, what about this, that, and the third? Not.
Weren't one of the ones I listed.
Take what you get. And do you know anywhere else? Sobeys.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Where else can I go? Yeah. What is that phrase? Beggars can't be choosers. But
in their minds, baby girl, they're not begging.
They're not begging. We're paying for it.
They're making a reasonable
customer
request. They're not begging. Your job as a baker, I'm calling you to bake something. Yeah. Even if I want it in 20 minutes, what is so hard to understand about that? Nope. Delusions. Honestly, the spirit of delusion is alive and well. Yeah. Running rife throughout this generation, throughout the society right now. Just everybody's catching it. They're just catching the spirit of delusion. It's like a cold. I don't know. I don't get it. Everyone be deluded. I love that for you though. Just don't come at me.
I just want to know, like, what bakery have you been to where that's been a thing, or that's like been a standard that you think is something that is reasonable for a bakery to do, that's not like a grocery store, that's not just keeping things, like we're busy. Yeah. We're busy.
You're booked and busy?
We're booked and busy.
I love that for you.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, it's also like with emails and the ordering, like people be like, I emailed you yesterday and nobody's gotten back to me.
That's accurate.
And I said, well, first of all, our automatic reply said minimum 3 days to get back to you.
Do you specify business days?
I do. Yeah. I say there are min days are Monday through Thursday. And those are the only days that we reply. So those are considered our business days. It's been Saturday and Sunday or already been 2 days. Okay. And I was thinking is what I want. I never want to like explain this to every single person that complains because I don't got time for it. But it's like, I'm not just sitting answering emails. Yeah. I'm answering emails, but I'm also managing staff. I'm decorating things. I'm working in the front. I'm doing customer service. I'm answering the phone. I'm running errands. I'm doing inventory. Like, I'm not just sitting around answering emails as much as I would love to do that, to reply to every little inquiry that comes through. I just don't got time.
No, I think it's like for people who have a desk job and they sit in front of a computer every day and they're like, well, the alert came up and so I answered it. And I'm like, cool. The alert might have come up on my phone and I wouldn't have seen it or heard it. And because I'm not sitting in front of a computer, I don't have a keyboard, or I see it come up and I'm like, oh, interesting. And I don't even, this is the first line. Hi, Lenore, I'm looking for... And that's all I see because that's what the little pop-up shows on my phone. And then that's it. When I go to sit down and answer emails, if you happen to email me at that time, there's a slight chance that I'll answer you right away. Potentially. But like in the lifetime of my business, how many times has that happened? 4. Where someone's like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, this is, first of all, very quick. And I have an immediate answer for you. A lot of the times when people are emailing, they're like, hi, I'm looking for a wedding cake for X date. Do you have availability? I'll take ages to reply to that email because when you emailed me, you would have gotten an auto reply that would have told you like 99% of your questions can be answered on our website, including the question of availability because we have an availability calendar there. And if you just click on that availability calendar and navigate to your date, it'll show green if you're all good, yellow if it's like, ooh, beware, we're busy that day, so we might not be able to accommodate your order, and red, which is like, don't come to us. So you asking me to then go and check the availability counter that I already updated to confirm to you whether or not, for me that sounds like busy work and I'm not keen on it. If you can't help yourself, I also can't help you. I
had an older gentleman who called me the other morning enraged.
Oh boy.
Because he went on to my website to, fill out an inquiry form as you're supposed to do. He's like, how am I supposed to see anything on this website? It's pink and white. Nobody can read this.
Oh boy.
This is not a proper way to do a website. I can't read anything. I can't see anything. And you're making me fill out this inquiry form. And I'm like, is your font not black? It's black. It is black. Oh, okay. It's black. Okay. But like my main page is very like white and pastel. But when you go to the inquiry form, it's all black and white. It's all black. It's actually pink with black. It couldn't be more clear. And I also said, I'm like, and if there's an issue, you can just, at the bottom it just says, just email us directly if you're having trouble. What is it that you're looking for? Well, my wife placed an order for cupcakes in the shop and then she paid for it, but then she was told that she has to also email. What? If she's already placed an order and paid for it, why would she need to send an email? And I hear the wife in the background just like yelling, right? Just put her on the phone. I said, you just put her on the phone. Just put her on the phone. And I said, well, like, what can I help you with? Yeah. And she's like, I don't know. The girl at the front told me I'd have to email. And I said, but you already placed an order, so what is it that you're looking for? She's like, I'm not looking for anything. She's like, oh, I guess I must have gotten confused. Okay, bye. Then hung up on me. I was so thrown off. I was like, what is the world coming to? I don't know how to help people anymore. I was like, wait, first of all, why are you yelling at me? Second of all, why is the person that actually wants to talk to me not talking to me? I think they're two old people just started getting enraged about who knows what. And then decided to take it out on me. I'm like, we're gonna call this girl. We were like, yeah, your website is complicated. I'm like, I literally had an 84-year-old place an order for her daughter's 60th birthday all by herself. Yeah. We so often you cannot tell me that it's too complicated. Did you read? Yeah. Did you read it? Yeah. And follow the instructions? Because that's what that 84-year-old lady did. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. She seemed pretty smart, but like so many people that come in and say, I don't know how to send an email. I don't know how to do that in this day and age, ma'am. If you don't know how to send an email, that's all well and good. That's fine. But like, you can ask somebody to help you. Hi, I actually just really need to quickly send an email. I don't know how to do it. My gran, God bless her, she's 88. She knows how to send an email. She won't do it though unless somebody's sitting beside her, making sure that she's doing the right thing. Which like, okay, fine, that's fine. But when I email her, I do get an email back.
I don't do it very often because she'd rather a phone call, and like I'm not trying to stress her out. If she needs help, she'll call my cousin. She'll get my granddad.
Yeah. I'll help old people all day long. If you're having trouble. But a lot of the time we get customers that come in like, don't you have a book I can go through?
This is not 1973. We don't have a laminated book with dusty photos. Get out of here.
And she's like, well, I came here years ago and there was books. I'm like, yeah, the previous owners had books. However, all those cakes were from the early 2000s, which are outdated, things we do not provide, things I do not do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and the chances of you going through that book and finding something exactly as to what you want is just inconceivable. It's just not happening. Yeah. So it'd just be so much easier for you to tell me what you want specifically, and I will make that for you. Yeah. Because that's just what's going to come full circle. Yep. Even if you go through photos and you're like, well, I like this, but can you change that? And can you add this? And can you do... Well, if you just told me that from the very beginning, we would have saved a lot of time. Yeah.
You can take 4 cakes and tell me the elements that you like from each of them, and I'll put it together in one cake for you. It would be my pleasure. It would be my pleasure. People are like, oh, I want a chocolate cake, but I don't want the cake to be brown. That's fine. The inside of your cake has nothing to do with the outside of your cake.
I get that a lot.
But all of the inspo photos are these brown wedding cakes. I'm like, what did you type in? Chocolate wedding cake?
Chocolate wedding cake. That's what they typed in. So what's going to pop up? A chocolate brown wedding cake.
And like 99% of the time I'm like, oh my gosh, excited. I love doing things which are different, right? Yeah. I'm totally keen. I'm like, no, we don't want to look that at all. I'm like,
then why did you send that to me? When I asked for an inspiration photo, what you like, confused. You're like, here's this, but don't do any of that.
I don't want any of it.
Just do the opposite.
I never understand.
When people email me like, oh, like this is our theme, or I like something like this, I will go onto the Google. Absolutely. And I will find you photos like something like this. Yep. Because one of the most annoying things is when we get customers, I don't care what it looks like, just do whatever.
And then you do it?
No, baby.
I'm not. Do you do it or do you not do it?
I don't do it.
I do it if somebody has ordered from me before.
If it's a customer, yes. If it's a customer that I have, my customers that come to me all the time and they're like, we completely trust you, whatever you want to do, and I know I can trust them as a customer as well. Yeah. But there have been times where they bit me in the butt. They'll come and get the cake. They're like, well, this is not what I had in mind.
Funny.
Well, can you tell me what you had in mind?
That's funny. It's really funny. Yeah. I learned actually early on in New Zealand, there was a bride who was like, I think she was just like overwhelmed with her planning and like everything coming together and all of her last minute decisions. And obviously on Waiheke, very few people who get married on Waiheke actually live on Waiheke. So it's a bit of a ordeal to come over for the day and go through all your vendors and make sure that the place that you want to get married at is exactly what you're wanting, blah, 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 blah. So they came in to do their tasting, and my boss at the time, like Leslie, was like, oh my gosh, here's Lenore's arriving to work right now. Here's your cake baker, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, I know you told Leslie that you didn't care what it looked like. So do you like something like this? She's like, no, I hate that. I'm like, oh,
that's important information.
Okay. I'm like, what about this? She's like, no. We don't like a lot of icing. I'm like, okay, getting somewhere. What about this? You know, she settled on a semi-naked single tier 8-inch cake with like Italian ruscus and a couple of white roses sitting on top of a cupcake tower.
That's very specific. That's a very specific thing.
Do whatever you want. And the first thing that I show you that I think, I'm like, yeah, okay, this probably fits in with the venue. No, I hate that. Oh.
Can you imagine? What can you imagine?
I'm so glad I asked these four clarifying questions to get exactly what it was that you wanted.
And some customers will be annoyed too when I ask them questions.
Why would you show me? Why would you?
Well, they'll actually be like, I don't know what you want from me. Like they'll get upset, and I'm like, I need to be clear as to what you want, so I'm going to ask you a million questions. And they're like, oh, this is being drawn out. Like I was just hoping this would be an easier process.
I don't know what you want from me. I don't know what you want from me. I don't know what you want from me. Imagine going to somebody being like, I want you to make me something. Yeah. I'm going to give you 0 details. And I'm going to make you guess. Yeah. But also, if you ask me any clarifying questions, I'm going to be mad because you should know. I do know. Yeah. But you're not going to want what I make for you.
Even though the thing that you told me that you wanted was for me to do whatever I wanted.
Screaming. Can't win. I'd rather you be annoyed with me for 30 seconds and me get a clarified answer of exactly what it is that you look for than anything else. Can I show you a picture of something that I did recently that I'm really happy about?
Absolutely.
It rarely happens, folks. I hardly ever show Jess photos of my cakes because 99% of the time Jess is going to be like, I could do that better.
Oh my God, stop. I would never.
She would never say it out loud, but she thinks it and feels it.
Stop it.
Someone came and asked us for a stacked cheesecake.
Oh, okay.
Which I've only ever seen in photographs. And now I know why. 1, incredibly stressful.
Yeah, that's tough.
2, I had to travel with it, obviously. I thought about it. I'm like, should I stack it on site?
Did you think about stacking on site? Yeah.
I thought about stacking on site. And I'm like, what if it goes tits up though? And then I'm out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Out in the middle of nowhere with what? A cracked in half cheesecake? Oh, I'd rather die. What am I going to do?
God.
What am I going to do? Slap together with buttercream? I can't. I mean, I can, but I can't. Shouldn't.
Oh my God, that is gorgeous.
I really ended up being very, very happy with it.
You
I was
should be so happy with that.
Typically our cheesecakes are 2 inches tall because it's enough. Our cheesecakes are like New York style cheesecakes are incredibly dense. Yeah. You do not need a big piece in order to be satiated, I promise. And especially like folks don't really think about this. At your wedding, people arrive, they sit down for 40 minutes, they get up and they start eating.
Yeah.
They eat during cocktail hour. They sit down again at dinner and then they eat and then they eat and then they eat. They get up and they dance a little bit and then you're feeding them again if you have a late night. And that's as well as having cake. You will need fewer servings than you think.
Yes.
If you run out, it's actually the best thing that could ever happen rather than you being sent home with 2 half-cut tears at the middle of the night when you probably had a couple of drinks and your mom doesn't want anything to do with having to find space in the fridge to store it. You have family staying with her probably. And like, you don't want to have to deal with this. You're leaving on your honeymoon, or even if you're not, what are you going to do with 47 servings of cake left over from your wedding? You know what I mean? It's a lot of work. I'm like, just err on the side of having just a little too little.
Yeah.
Just a little. Be like, oh my gosh, one more person wanted cake and they couldn't get it. So sorry. Blah, blah, blah. The late night poutine bar is open. Build yourself
poutine bar. And also most venues, they come with dessert as part of the packages now anyway. So the chances that somebody's going to want another dessert are pretty, but this is absolutely stunning.
It turned out
a 3-tier cheesecake cake with fresh fruit and flowers, and I love the gooseberries that's on there. It's so pretty.
Those ground cherries, I was really happy with them.
It's so funny that some people, like, I call them gooseberries and other people call them ground cherries.
Cecily's, and nobody ever knows what I'm talking about.
There's so many names for them, but they're just beautiful, round. They look like yellow
ground cherries.
Grapes. Stop it. They do look like, but they don't have like a big pit in them.
Oh, the greatest gag. Okay, so I had a container because obviously I did most of the fruit work ahead of time, but then I wanted to add some, like, in case ones fell off or whatever. And so some of them I had them sliced.
Yeah.
And you know what a ground cherry looks like on the inside, or a feces looks like on the inside.
Yeah.
And there's a guy that came in and he was just like a staff worker and he was like, ew, you put tomatoes on the cake?
Oh my Lord, get out, sir.
And I'm like, oh, it's not a tomato.
It's yellow tomatoes.
It's a Felices or ground cherry or gooseberry. I'm like, do you want to try one? Because I had extras and he's like, no, I don't like tomatoes. I'm like,
I literally just told you it's not a tomato.
I was like, my guy, it's not a tomato. And he's like, well, it looks like a tomato. I'm like, if I think eat this, and literally like wouldn't let him leave until he ate it. It didn't take that. It wasn't that much persuasion. I was really like, just eat this. And he's like, oh, that tastes like, and I'm like, it tastes like a ground cherry. It tastes like a gooseberry. You can't compare it to anything else. It doesn't taste like anything else.
Can you imagine if he was like, it tastes like a tomato? Like, he can't get out of his own head about it.
I would have punched him square in the face.
Like, so stubborn.
He's like, yeah, wow, I really thought you put tomatoes on there. I'm like, in what world would like tomatoes, strawberries, and blackberries go together? Jess, I'm so excited.
Yes.
This is the episode.
Yeah.
We've alluded to some things. If you've missed it, Jessica and I are famous.
Low-key famous.
Low-key, high-key famous. Low-key, high-key. Of international acclaim.
Yes.
We are known worldwide. Jessie, why are we known worldwide?
We are known worldwide because we are on a little show called Crime Scene Kitchen.
CSK, y'all. We love a little crime scene kitchen.
I was so excited going into this, and ladies and gentlemen, she just opened a bag of M&Ms, the little fun size from Halloween, and they just went absolutely everywhere.
Only one fell on the ground, to be honest. Is that story about M&M's being coated in chocolate that wouldn't melt because wartime? Is that true? That they were sent to soldiers in their ration boxes?
Yes.
That's true?
That's true.
Whoa.
Yeah, but they've definitely changed the candy. It's not the same anymore.
Because now it melts.
Because now it melts in your hand, like in 5 seconds. They don't even use that slogan anymore. Melt in your mouth, not in your hand, because they do melt in your hand. That's what it used to be. But
if you didn't know that, now you know.
Due to, for food laws and things like that, candies and chocolates have changed. Like Smarties has changed. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. So yes, Crime Scene Kitchen. How shall we start this? There's so much to talk about. I don't even know where to begin.
Back in 1994, how old were you, Jess?
7.
Jessica was 7, and I was a sprightly 3. And that Christmas, I got an Easy Bake Oven. It was the happiest I ever was at Christmas for this Easy Bake Oven.
Anyway, we're getting way off topic again. Crime Scene Kitchen. So we're not allowed to talk about certain things when it comes to Crime Scene Kitchen.
Shall I refresh our memory?
Yes. We just want to make sure that we're following the rules so we don't get in trouble.
Regarding your podcast, we don't have any issues. We talking about the show or chatting with fellow contestants. The only thing we would ask is that you do not give away any spoilers.
Yes.
Reveal guest judges, etc. So the etc. I don't know what that covers. Okay, so no spoilers, no guest judges, and no etc.
I think they didn't want us to talk as well about the interview process.
Oh, okay.
Like they didn't want to talk about like how
long it took.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have nothing to say about that. How long it took.
Yeah, I think it was something about the casting process we weren't allowed to talk about.
Sure. I mean, well, we told Mike Farwell.
We did.
That
I mean, there was nothing.
We didn't get told about the casting process. They said, how did they connect with you? And it was the same as the show that I've been on previously. They sent a DM, which I do not monitor.
That's like exposing anything.
But I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw the message in the DM.
I think it's more for like things that they asked us and things that they had us do. If any future contestants, they don't want them to hear about it, so they can somehow
to the 200 future contestants that are currently listening to this podcast. But they are in fact casting.
They are casting for season 4, which is super exciting because that means that season 3 is doing really well,
which is different because previously this was a show that only aired in the summer.
Yeah.
And now they're airing it in the fall. The difference between TV in the fall, TV in the summer TV shows, they kind of are banking that like not really a lot of people are going to watch it because they're like going on holidays and there's no routine. Thursdays at 9 p.m. in the fall is a hot spot. I'm pretty sure Grey's Anatomy is on Thursdays at 9 p.m. or at least that's what it was when it started. And I know TV is very different than it was when Grace came out the first time. What was that, 20 years?
Oh my God, 22 years ago.
Thursday night at 9 o'clock is still a coveted TV spot. And that's currently where Crime Scene Kitchen is airing. So if they like us there, we like to be there. It's a good slot. It ended up being pretty okay. And if they're seeing good ratings, then I'm happy.
Right after MasterChef, that's a really...
Hell's Kitchen, sorry. That's
really
what you
good
meant.
spot to be.
Yeah. And then they air again on Friday on CTV, which is also really cool. The fact that the Canadian market can actually watch it.
Yeah, for free.
For freezies, for no money. CTV.ca is where you'll find all the episodes. As of right now, I think 5 episodes have been released.
Yeah. And when we release this episode, talking about this, it'll probably be, the final episodes will be coming out.
Scary.
Yeah.
Will we be there? You'll never know.
You'll never know. We won't tell.
You have to watch to find out. I got a DM in my Instagram inbox and they were like, jump on a call with us. And I was like, okay, sure. Jumped on a call and they're like, yeah, so this is the premise of the show. Have you ever heard of it? I'm like, no. Never heard of it. And we're like, okay, so like you'll need a partner. Do you have one? And I'm like, I can find one. I have a pretty good idea of who I should reach out to. And they're like, okay, cool. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I had a list of 2 people. And if you had said no, and she knows this too, Hannah Banana, the love of my life.
And I would not have blamed you because I know that relationship is strong.
And I literally said to her, do you want to drop out of school this term and film a TV show with me? And she was like, I could be persuaded. tell me more. I'm like, I could never ask. Especially knowing how volatile filming TV is. It was really hard to pinpoint a date. But also you were my first choice because I'm like, if I know anybody who needs a break from our real life to go play TV baking simulator, it's Jessica. And I think I messaged you. You know what? I have all the messages.
Probably pull it up.
I can't say the date that this happened.
No, you can't say the date.
They're casting for Crime Scene Kitchen. Want to be my partner? And then the emoji with the glasses and the mustache.
I love that.
Are you joking? I would love to. So fun. And then I sent you a screenshot of the message they sent me.
Yes.
And I said, Kay, I will find out details and let you know. And I said, vibes. This is the next day. Potentially filming. Dates to be concerned. It's just TBC. And I tried to real time see what it was. And I said, dates to be concerned. It's confirmed. Potential set amount of time. Filming timeline if we were to make it to the finale. I know it's a long time away from Ollie in the shop. But if we win, it's $100,000.
Wild.
Filming in 2 places, which is neither one of them we ended up filming in.
I know.
They want us to do a Zoom interview / screen test with us. What do you think? And you said, I love it all. Of course, it would be really hard to be away from Ollie. But oh my goodness, the money.
Let's be real. The money.
Let's be real. I said, oh my goodness, right? I said, I was literally like, is this for real? Are y'all for real? And apparently they are.
Yeah.
I'm going to let them know that we're going to be keen to move forward. I hope they want to do it sooner rather than later because I leave next week.
Oh, yes.
This was right.
That was tough. You were away on your honeymoon.
Yes.
And
yes.
Trying to do these
16 hours
phone calls
in the middle of the night.
Oh my goodness.
With not my regular cell phone because I did not have service. Well, I did have service, but it was with a New Zealand number.
Yeah.
Oh, you can know that I was on my honeymoon in New Zealand. That's fine. I was like,
wait, can I say that?
I was like, wait, can I say that? I'm like, yes, I can. I was in New Zealand. That's a fact. That's a fact. I can't take that back.
Nobody needs to know when she was in New Zealand.
No. And it was wild. I said, P.S. Imagine if we get casted and we frickin' win. Imagine.
Oh, wild.
And you said, I can't even imagine that. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
And I said, love this for us. Manifesting it though. So yes, I do love this for us. And you said, I'm manifesting the beep out of this right now. Delightful. And that's how the conversation started.
That's how it started. Yes.
And then the process went on from there. It was I would not say that it was a not stressful casting process. All casting processes are a little bit stressful just because you're so full of unknowns.
Yes.
And then you get contracts, which we talked about in our first bonus episode, getting the contract, reading the contract, my interpretation of what that contract said. Give us your soul. Give us your baby soul. Give us your baby soul. It wasn't that bad. Regardless, typical TV boilerplate. You know, you hear people talk about it all the time.
What was so funny is that they kept on asking, are you sure you're available for this date?
Yes.
Over and over. And I'm like, yes.
We're actually holding it for you.
Actually
and
holding
saying
it
no
for you.
to
We
orders.
need you to tell us if we're doing this because we're like just on the edge of our seat here, but we also have businesses to run. So if this is not going to actually be a thing. And now I understand why they kept asking, because I think the casting process was long. It was a long process. And for a lot of people that have lives and have work, they would have to be like, actually, you know what? I can't do this. I can't step away from my life. I can't, move away from this. So
something's changed and now I can't.
Something's changed and I can't, you know, and there were some people that I know were cast for the show that literally had days notice.
Like
I think by the time we found out, I think it was like maybe we had a month.
Yep, we had a month to prepare.
So I mean, we had that time, and you know, we had very supportive families that were and workers that were able to help us so that we could take that in some cases. As Lenore, like her eyes just rolled into the back.
The worker.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, really funny. Really funny. So we filmed, are we allowed to say like a timeline? We filmed over Easter.
Yeah, we filmed over Easter. Yeah, we can say that.
And everybody now knows that we filmed in Toronto, which was incredible for us because it did not mean that we got to go home, but it meant that the people in our lives that could make time to come down on days that we were not filming, we got to see them.
Yes.
So I got to see my husband. You got to see Mike and Ollie.
Yes.
My friends stopped by as well. And like my friends who live in the city, I was able to go and see them. I'm like a random morning, which would like never happen. Or like, oh, do you want to like get a quick coffee? Be like, yes, because it's a half an hour walk as opposed to like a 2-hour drive, you know? So it was really nice too. So it was great to be in a city that I knew and a city that you knew as well. You lived downtown at some point.
I did. Yeah.
So we got to go to some favorite haunts. We went shopping at one of my favorite vintage stores, which I'm not going to even say the name of because I don't want everyone to go there. People already go there.
We can't let too many people know.
No. I got my very first ugly Christmas sweater there when I moved downtown, and it was my first Christmas, and it was on the mannequin, and I'm like, I want that one. And the girl was like, I don't think it's going to fit you. And I'm like, Take it off.
Take it off the gosh darn mannequin.
Give it to me. Of course it fit because polyester stretches to accommodate whatever you put inside. But yeah, the whole process, like there were some things that I was nervous about. I'm not a girl who like does my hair in any way, shape, or form. It's why I have locks, because ponytails are my standard. And I also don't wear makeup on a regular basis. The last time I was on a TV show, they did my hair and my makeup, so I didn't have to worry about anything. And this time, we were responsible
we had to do it ourselves.
for doing our very own hair and makeup, because you don't want to look crazy.
And my concern is, I mean, I rarely wear makeup anymore. Like I'm not wearing any makeup right now, but
still so beautiful, y'all. You would never believe it, but I believe it.
But I'm like, I also don't. How do I do my makeup for TV? Like I know that the lighting is completely different. And I don't like, if I do wear makeup, it's like a tinted moisturizer and mascara and eyeliner at the most. So I'm like, I obviously need to do more than this. So I actually went for like a makeup tutorial.
So cute.
I'm like, teach me how to use this makeup, because I want to be able to do it quick and I want it to be able to do it well. And especially I know too, like I don't want to be that person where I'm like, this is the right shade on my face. It's actually not. You look orange, you know?
Yeah.
So having somebody to help me with that, and my girl Megan, she did my hair and showed me how to do my hair so I could, you know, feel prepared every day. That's one thing. I'm like, I want to go in feeling pretty and feeling prepared and not have
confident.
And confident.
Yeah.
And you know, so many people are like, oh, why you feel the need to like wear makeup? I'm like, when I feel like, I don't want to say presentable, but it's like when I feel like really put together and I took time and I invested time in myself to make myself like, I feel good.
Yeah.
I've already started the day with confidence and I can be in front of people not having to worry about,
oh my gosh, can they see this?
Superficial things.
Can they see that? Oh, are they focusing on this?
Do they think I'm ill?
Yeah.
Like so many times too where I don't wear makeup and people are like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you sick? And I'm like, I don't want people thinking that.
Sure, of course.
I'm like, that's just my face.
Yeah.
But you know, like I get it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't want people, because it's a human thing, right, to be thinking that. And I just wanted to go onto the show feeling my absolute best, and I did. I felt really pretty. At times I felt like a little too colorful because of wardrobe.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
My natural shades are like beige and gray and beige and creams,
neutral, minimalistic,
and they wanted us to wear like super bright colors, which I get because it's very attractive for the show. It's very fun, very appealing, but there were times where I was like, whoa.
And the funniest part is, you know, we didn't know what we were wearing until we showed up. But they're like, but make sure your makeup is done. Like, you got to be TV ready when you're downstairs in the lobby. And it's like,
but if I wear purple eyeshadow and you put me in a yellow outfit, I don't want that.
It might work.
It might work.
It might work, but it also might not work. I will tell you, I have one regret. Those TV lights are outrageous. There are multiple scenes where it doesn't look like I have eyebrows at all.
Oh, really?
Day 1, I filled them in.
Okay.
And day 2, I filled them in. And then I also put on false eyelashes on the outsides of my like little wings.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not doing that again.
I felt like as the episodes went on, it was becoming a lot.
I just decided I don't want to, like, to all the girls that are out there and you wake up in the morning and you do your faces
every single day.
You have a full beat every day. I love that for you. I love that for you. Day 1, I think I woke up at like 5 a.m. to make sure I had lots of time. And I spent 45 minutes maybe doing my face. By the time we get to this episode that's going to air, we would have done it 4 times already, right? Each bake is filmed on a separate day, which I'm not breaking that news. Collider wrote an article.
No, it's already out there.
Yeah, Collider wrote an article. You can read more about that if you'd like to. So this was the 5th time that we were doing it, and already I was exhausted. Already I was so tired. I'm like, I'm not filling my eyebrows in. I'm not putting false eyelashes on. I'm going to put some mascara on. I'm not putting a lipstick on. I'm going to put a lip gloss on that might be a little bit colored. Like, these are the things, the changes that I made as time went on. Because I'm like, I want to go in relaxed. I want to go in like happy. I was waking up 5:45, 6 o'clock. I mean, like, ooh, I really should 6:15. I'm like, I gotta be downstairs in 20 minutes. Let me just jump in the shower real quick, put some moisturizer on my face, throw some foundation on, throw in a little bit of blush, a little bit of eyeshadow, same color, all over the entire lid. We'll highlight it, and we'll put on a lip gloss and call it a day.
Mm-hmm. And that was the tough thing, because each episode was filmed over 2 days. Mm-hmm. So you would have the first bake and then the elimination bake. You had to make sure that your hair and makeup matched, looked exactly the same. And I'm like, I've been sleeping on this face and sleeping on this hair. And now you want me to do the exact same thing?
Yeah.
There were makeup artists that were on site, lovely people.
Yeah.
They would have, they would give us they would have maybe 5 minutes with us, and they would touch up anything that they felt, and they would have photos and compare, oh, actually this was kind of like this. And they would fix anything, because, we were also, our heads were in the game too at that point. How are we going to kick some butt, you know? So it was nice having them on site to kind of touch us up. And it really was. And one thing that we knew, obviously Jess and I watched both seasons that had already been aired twice. We watched together and we watched independently. Yeah. And then when we arrived, I think we watched it again,
but we only watched season two. Yeah. We watched season 2 again together, and we drew up a game plan, and we knew how we were going to attack the crime scene kitchen every time. And we were making a list of all the desserts that had already been done, because it was unlikely that they would repeat. Not impossible, because they did pie twice. They did pie in season 1, they did pie again in season 2. But every time it's a different pie, it can look different, form different, blah, 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 blah. But when they say classic desserts, what are the kinds of desserts that they're thinking of? And the list is so long. There's American classic desserts, there's European classic desserts, there's Spanish classic desserts, North American, blah, blah, blah. So many options. Jess was much better at studying than I was. I tried, but I would get distracted easily. Apologize. But I also had so many things rattling around in my brain all the time that I'm I'm sure we'll figure it out. And there were it's crazy, because it's things that are trending on social media could be popular. Things that are from 100 years ago could be popular. Things that you've never heard of before. They proposed 2 options to us in the casting process, and if you saw such and such, what would you think? And we got them wrong every time they played this game with us. We got it wrong. And they're naming things that were the state dessert of Missouri, and we're my God,
from Canada, can you throw me an Nanaimo bar? Can you?
We have no idea. We have no idea what these things are. And then we're researching that, and eventually got to the point where I'm I'm just gonna have to rely on my knowledge. And yes, I was in pastry school 12 years ago, but I'm gonna have to rely on that knowledge. I thank goodness studied and worked in France and worked in England and worked in New Zealand, which is really just an offshoot of England, in terms of what quote unquote classic desserts might be. I was that's it. We're just gonna have to roll with that. But there were specific desserts that were just in my head that I thought about, and the combination together. I actually had thought about frangipane and poached pears, because I was thinking that they were going to have us make a jalousie, which was puff pastry with a lattice top, that rectangular looking tart. And I couldn't get it out of my head. And we're going to have to do a jalousie. Don't forget, what's the name of that thing? Oh yeah, jalousie, over and over and over again. And similar with another dessert that we won't name now.
We won't name now because it's coming up in an episode.
That I happened to be right about in terms of preparation, but what was I going off of? I don't know. I was guessing. And it happened to work. That was it. But, the process itself was hectic. But then we got there. We got driven in a car from Kitchener.
Felt like a celebrity.
Felt a bit like a celebrity. We had quite a few bags. One bag just for wardrobe, right? But we weren't flying, so it was fine. One bag just for wardrobe. I brought my own pillow because I didn't want to sleep uncomfortably. That comes back to bite me later. It didn't work. And all this other stuff. And first day of filming was obviously so nerve-wracking. We were so scared. So scared. We came up with a song so that we wouldn't be scared.
I wonder if they're going to air that.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Don't want to give a spoiler out. So obviously we'll have to wait and see. If they don't,
we'll sing it for you guys.
If they don't before the show concludes, before our role on the show concludes, then we will come back and sing it for you. But even just that idea of at the end of the day, we're here to have fun. We want to win.
But we're here
at the end of the day, we're here to have fun. Jess and I had never baked together before in any capacity. We met at a school open house and we stood side by side and dipped chocolates for 4 hours. But that's not baking. And you're not doing Jess was the one tempering the chocolate and refilling my chocolate bowl, which is very nice. But that was the extent of like me relying on Jess in that moment. And we were both there in the same capacity, dipping chocolates and chatting. That was literally the whole thing that we were doing. So then to get into a kitchen, and when you come out of the crime scene kitchen, you have a list. For us, we each had our independent sides of the kitchen that we went through and searched, and we had a list of the things that we had seen, and we write them down. And then we talk about it. What did you see? What did I see? What do we think these things are? And you try to relent your vision of what you think it is, having only seen half of the clues, and open your mind to what your partner saw. Yeah. Given their half of the clues as well. I think you see it in the Charlotte Russe clip. Yes. Where for some reason we say, let's say it at the same time. This is like our second episode, you know, but like technically like our fourth bake together and fourth time going through the crime scene kitchen. And I'm like, this is the first time where I feel so confident. I'm so proud of you.
And if I'm confident, I'm like, Lenore must also have this. There's absolutely no way that I have it. And technically you did. It was a mousse cake. Charlotte Russe is a mousse cake. But it is crazy when there are times where I look back on those bakes and our deliberation, where sometimes we're deliberating for like 40 minutes. Yeah. Like they make it look like we're like 5 minutes in and they're like, okay, let's get started. That was not real life. Yeah. That was not real life for us.
I think though that we deliberated smartly. We're like, we know at some point we're going to need an oven. Turn the oven on. Yeah. We know at some point we're going to need some eggs and we need to separate them. Let's start separating some eggs.
We know the items that we're going to need. If we need to ask anything from the kitchen, like what, special grocery items we need, let's get those in. Let's get those. And then let's keep talking. Yeah. So wild.
Like
time.
You see it on my face. You say, I think they're ladyfingers. And I say, I think they're ladyfingers. Yeah. And then I laugh because in my mind, I was not imagining ladyfingers at all. No. I was imagining like a patterned jacquard going around the outside of the cake. Even though, like thinking back, did I see enough clues for a patterned jacquard? No. Yeah. But you saw clues which I did not see. You found that red ribbon in the dustpan, and that was a real big indicator that it was a Charlotte Russe. It's actually what takes it from being just a mousse cake to being a Charlotte Russe. It helps you get in that direction. But I hadn't seen it, so I had no idea. And I'm like, I don't think I would have been so confident that it was a Charlotte Russe if I hadn't seen that red ribbon. Yeah. So how the other teams got there, without seeing the red ribbon is crazy to me. Yeah. But yeah, and so I was just like, let's do this, and that was, 1, feeling so 2, 3.
Charlotte Russe.
Okay. Not the same thing. Or I didn't understand the context of seeing that and all the promos. Yeah,
and all the other promos.
I was like, we set ourselves up. Yeah. That's highly embarrassing.
But yeah, so when you go through the crime scene kitchen, immediately afterwards they separate us, right? So when they bring us back together into the kitchen, when we're separated, I'm literally just sitting in a chair, going through everything, trying to memorize everything that I saw. Yeah. And I never want to make some immediate guesses because I don't want that to impact the items and things that I actually saw in the kitchen.
You're like, let me maintain my list.
Yeah. And they really wanted us to, when we went through the crime scene kitchen, to like throw out random. I'm like, I'm not going to do that because it can alter what I'm actually seeing. Yeah. If I jump to conclusions.
If it's a such and such, and what's this doing here? Oh, like Danielle and Courtney.
Yeah, Danielle and Courtney.
They knew that yeast was a part of it, and they were just like, yeah, let's ignore it. Oh, baby girl, why?
I know.
Why? You had a feeling. You really have to leave it. It's hard, you guys. It's so hard to go through a list of absolutely everything you could possibly think it is, but you have to. Like, we did it so many times. Well, what about this? Yeah. What about this? We think maybe it was a red herring. Was it?
Was it a red herring, or was it
actually? Yeah. We talked about that with our second bake with the red, and ended up going with the jelly because we couldn't let it go.
I couldn't. I'm like, the reason why is that there was nothing else in the kitchen that had used it. I knew it wasn't the raspberry jam. Because it didn't have any seeds in it, so I'm like, it has to be important. It's such a small clue, a clue that could easily be hidden. Yeah. So they obviously want us to use it, so
Yeah, their pears were red.
Their pears were red because they were poached in red wine, which they did not release in the show. How dare you? How dare you? Because nobody got it.
Nobody got that clue.
Nobody got it. So they just left it out. But I'm sorry, like, why are your pears red then?
Please explain.
Please explain.
Please explain. Poached pears aren't that color. Yeah, the craziest part, you saw a peeler, and we poached our pears with skins on.
We both know. Yeah. We both know that
you can do it either way.
You can do it either way, but anytime I've done it, I've always peeled. And I think that was one of the bakes that was kind of really pushed to the, like, we were deliberating for a long time, and I think we were just trying to get it done.
Right. And Joel said it. What are you making? And I said, that's a good question
because we knew we were making some kind of tart, but we didn't know what. And that one point where I'm like, okay, so let's just do the poached pears with the jelly. That's when we had decided, where we were more than halfway through our baking.
Because I didn't see frangipan.
Yeah.
I did,
but I forgot to tell you.
I didn't see the almond flour being made, but I'm like, if we're poaching pears, the only thing I can think of that goes with poached pears is, again, because of the jalousie, poached pears and frangipan. And you're like, I didn't see anything. I think you thought the offset spatula was clean because you didn't turn it over.
I didn't turn it over. It was on the other side.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're already making leaps and leaps and leaps in this bake. We're already making leaps and bounds. So what do we know? We know it's a tart. We know that it's a tartlet because I counted out those little
pieces
balls
of paper,
whatever, and there were 6 of them. We didn't know that the foil was butter. We tried to think a million ways. Why would there be 2 squares of foil? And they're the same size as, I can't even remember what bake it was that finally I looked in the box of butter and was like,
they wrapped their butter in foil.
Oh,
that's what it is.
Okay, now I know, but it was a while.
It was a while.
Maybe it was this episode that
I think it's this episode
that I figured it out. That I was like, oh, those 2 foil things meant to be butter. Fun fact. Something that seems so simple, y'all, it can really trip you up because you're like, what the heck is this? Anyway, we didn't know what we were making. We just knew that we decided on a tart. We decided on a frangipan because it went with poached pears, not because we saw any evidence of it. And so the jelly, we're like, yeah, one more thing that we have no idea about. Let's throw it in there. You can only be so wrong.
It's so tough because that was an elimination bake. So for those that don't know, we should probably mention this too. So we're talking about our first episode, which is actually episode 2 of Crime Scene Kitchen.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
An elimination bake of where we're making the tarts.
Yeah.
So the pressure, I mean, like I felt the pressure with safety bake, but not.
You weren't going home after a safety bake.
People were like, oh, you must really. I'm like, of course I want safety. Of course I want to, but I'm like, but also it's just, there's not as much. And then you get into elimination bake and I'm like, this is do or die.
We could go home.
We did not want to go home.
No. We didn't want to go home first. Rip to our cowboy friends, Adam and Cliff, who I nicknamed Cutie Patootie when I didn't know his name. Yeah, that was a hard bake too. But you sit and you watch it home and you're like, oh, how could you possibly put blackberries? You knew that there was something in the fridge and you forgot. Was there something else that I missed? I did that. There were definitely times where they're reading out because there was this, and this.
Where?
Was
How?
there? I didn't see. Did I see that? And they're like, yeah, you did see that. You talked about it. Did I?
That feels like a million years ago.
I can't even remember seeing this at all. There's just like so much going on. But so far, episode 1, what was the first thing that we made? The cake. Ended up being really cute.
It did. Everything we made looked, well, except for this episode that's coming out next.
Well, we can't talk about it.
We're not talking about it.
We can't talk about it. I think I keep telling everyone it's our most embarrassing episode.
It is pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
So the third episode that we're going to be on is embarrassing, but
that's okay. I think by the time you hear this, you would have already seen it.
Yeah, you would have already seen it. You know what we're talking about. You know what we've been through. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
But the first one was the cake, and then we did the poached pear frangipan tart, which we, pretty much nailed, except for that plum jelly, which I forced upon you.
It's fine. Loved it. It was also freaking delicious.
It was so good.
Not mad about that. Did you put sugar in this? What?
Just go check all the tarts.
What?
Well, because I know that when some people make, whenever I do it, the fruit goes in, or I let the fruit sit in sugar.
We had no time. We made jelly with 15 minutes.
We made jelly with 15 minutes left to go of that time. Because it was definitely a last minute, we weren't arguing, but we were going back and forth. Shouldn't we? And then, Lord, then what was next?
Star bread.
The star bread.
If I'm wrong, let me be wrong. Is it wrong?
Was it wrong or was it just not right?
Oh, you ever sound real stupid on international
You know what?
TV?
You know what's funny is that I'm getting comments from my family and my friends about how my eye rolls.
Oh yeah, our faces.
Our faces.
I don't think we recognize how expressive our faces happen to be in real life.
Yeah.
And every time my husband's like, do you not realize that that's what it's like to have a conversation with you on a regular and consistent basis?
You're like, I'm so glad that you were yourself on this show. And I'm like, what are you? Should I be insulted
Your
right
face
now?
I
know. My face right now.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's like, how we are on that show is how we genuinely are. We weren't putting on any airs or behaving any differently than we normally do.
No, especially when we're together and it's like the two of us and we're just, you know, it automatically feels like we're in our own little world and we're watching TV. We just happen to be there live in person. All the same faces, comments, whatever that would happen as we're watching it on TV. We're doing the same thing in real life. We just happen to be there. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And people are like, why are you straining to see over? I'm like, yeah, I really thought that if I just leaned a little bit more to the right, that I would be able to see what was going on. It's irrational, but it's what happens.
It's what happens.
I'm just telling you.
It's intense.
It's so funny. Like, yeah, your faces are so expressive. They cut to you all the time. I'm like, I guess nobody else was like,
because everyone else was just stone cold, like, you know.
And we're like, ooh.
I think too, like, I thought there were so many points too where there were long film days. I was just so hungry, so they were just like, listen, we need you to be really expressive. And, ooh, what's that? You know, like, there was sometimes where they would make us do scenes for like 5-10 minutes before they would do the reveal. I'm like, I will give you whatever you want. I will be as expressive as possible if it means we can get out of here and get some craft.
Apparently that was us trying to see them take the ring off.
Okay. She's showing me a video of a polar bear kind of like straining over, mouth wide open.
My friend Stephanie said that to me. She watches the show in live tweets me via text message. And she said, oh my God, you guys leaning over to see him taking off the ring. And
there was
the polar bear
that was an intense, I swear, it was silence in that studio because everyone was just holding our breath, because one thing that you don't see is when Brando is walking in front of us, he shakes the plate. Yeah,
he jiggles with their mousse on it. We knew it wasn't a ring. We knew that they didn't finish.
Yeah, we knew they didn't finish, and you, like, our faces were just like, oh my God, because it was so jiggly. And we knew when we went up there that it was, so as soon as we saw him go take that ring off, we knew what was going to happen. Yeah. And that's why we were straining over so bad.
I'm like, is it going to immediately soup?
Yeah.
And it didn't.
It didn't. It held for a little bit, but then it did.
Yeah.
It did fall down.
There was no cake base under it either to like help a little bit. Oh.
It's too, like, us being, it's not like we're trying to be like, oh, she's so dramatic, but it's like, we understand what it feels like. Like, if we were in those shoes, if we were in that situation, like, that it's an intense feeling. Everything is on the line, and it's just like, you've put your all into this, and you know, like, you're hoping for, as much as you're hoping the other teams get the heck out of there, you also want to see other people succeed. Like, you want people to do well.
It's crazy because, you know, it's like, well, who didn't you like? And like, there wasn't anybody that we didn't like, to be honest. And it's kind of hard to, I think it's that part. You know, the road they traveled to get there. Yeah. And you know that the road was not necessarily easy. Yeah. You know how much they would have had to postpone, give up, say no to, so that they could be here in this opportunity. It's one thing to go out being proud of something that you've made. Like, you made something spectacular and it's because you like missed a clue or like interpreted something incorrectly, and like that's the reason why you're going home, is very different to like, yeah, they didn't quite get all the clues right, but then they also presented something that they were not happy with. And that is hard. Because it's not a representation of who they are or what they're capable of as bakers. And it just sucks. You never, ever, ever want to see someone who, you know, worked really hard to do something turn up short, ever. Ever. That was a tough episode for sure. Our most embarrassing one is yet to come.
Listen, we all have our moments.
Yeah. That star bread. Oh, that's the one that we didn't talk about. Jesse got to be wrong with the plum jelly, and I got to be wrong with the shape of the star bread. The gag is that we had extra dough left over.
We had 2 breads in that oven,
and Jess made a star.
Yeah.
And then we ate it.
My own. Yeah, I think it was just my own. I'm like, well, I have time. We would never do anything if we didn't have time for it. Like, obviously, if there was something else I should be doing, I would have done it. Yeah. But like, we have this extra bread. I'm gonna make this star bread just because it's stuck in my head. I have to do it.
We proofed it.
No, we didn't. We just threw that in the oven.
Threw it in the oven.
It was huge, though.
It was ginormous because it had been bench resting for so long.
Yeah, that bread was very yummy.
Yeah. And we ate it, and it was super tasty.
Yes.
We liked it.
Yeah.
Apologies. Well, Yolanda had good things to say about it.
Yolanda had very good things to say.
Tasted
she was very
so
sweet.
good on the Instagram, and I took a screenshot because I'm like,
that's so good.
Keeping it forever. Thank you, Yolanda. Appreciate you.
And that's the thing too, is like, we didn't get safety, but we made something that was delicious. And I love that people can see that we're good at what we do.
Yeah.
You know, that we can make pretty and delicious things. So that was very satisfying. Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
My God, what comes next with the show? Well, we're on it still. The merge is next, actually.
The merge is next.
So for those who don't know the premise of the show, there are 6 teams of friends. We're a team of friends because the alternate is 6 teams of family. And as much as Jess and I look alike, we're actually not related. I know we look like twins, but we're actually not related at all.
Why you gotta expose us like that?
I'm so sorry. I just felt like it felt inauthentic and I didn't let the people know. So then there are the 6 teams of family. And so 3 teams of family have now been eliminated. So those 3 remaining family teams will move on to the merge. And there are currently 4 friend teams still in the running. 1 will go home tonight. Who's all left? Me and you, Jesse and Justin, April and Samantha, Kieran and Yanush. And so out of the 4 teams, when someone is eliminated this week, those 3 other friend teams will go into the merge, and they will merge together 3 family teams, 3 friends teams, and then we will compete just as before. Continuation. They will compete. Whoever
makes it
through to the merge. We're bad at this.
Well, the thing is, by the time this episode comes out, it's going to be very clear as to what happened.
That's
and
true.
Things like that. But
I had a 3-part rule for us going into the show. 3 things that I cared about preserving. 1 was my image. I was really, really dead set on protecting my image. I didn't want to come across looking stupid, which is, everyone says, well, I don't want to look stupid on TV. Yeah, I really didn't want to come across looking stupid because I'd already been on TV once and I thought that I came across well. And I didn't want to potentially tarnish any opportunities that I would have by performing poorly. Number 2, I wanted to protect Jessica's image. She owns a business. She does this as a job. This is her life and potentially her livelihood. Wouldn't want her to do anything that would subject that to any sort of diminishing returns, right? The whole point of us going on the show, yes, is to have fun. Also get our names out there, get our business out there. If there's anything that's going to come from that, like this can be just a feather in the cap. If it's going to turn out to be something terrible for us, I wouldn't want that. My image, her image. And the last one, which is the most important thing, if you're not Canadian, you probably won't get it, but they say you'll always figure out who your true friends are after going in a canoe with them, right? One person is in charge of steering, the other person's in charge of paddling. Canoeing together will break a friendship. If it's not solid. The last thing I wanted to preserve was our friendship. I wanted this to be a story that we could talk about for years to come and be like, and my friend Jess, who I'm still friends with, as opposed to when people ask us about the show and be like, Jess will be like, oh, you guys still friends? And be like,
it was just too,
like whatever distance, blah, 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 blah. That could not have worked. We literally are down the street and around the corner from each other. Our shops are. And like, we're a part of each other's lives. If anything, I wanted this to solidify our friendship and be like, there's no way you're ever going to get rid of me now. We've done this such a cool thing together. And I wanted to make sure that we preserved our friendship. And eventually, I think you'll probably see, is it this episode? I can't remember.
What? The what?
A little bit of frayed nerves.
Oh,
frayed
yes,
nerves.
because they were pushing. Yes.
This one.
It's this one.
This upcoming episode.
Yeah.
You know, we are trying to perform our best at something that we don't know how to do. We don't know how to be on TV. We don't know how to bake together in a kitchen. We don't know how to guess what was made in a crime scene kitchen and come back and replicate it. We're doing our very, 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 very best. And at the same time, we know that we want to preserve our friendship.
Yeah.
So we're like trying our hardest to be like, yeah, everything is fine. But if you have a bad bake the day before, or you don't win safety, and then
you're feeling a little pressure, a little like it's kind of getting to us now, like how we're so close but so far, and it was tough. And then you have, you know, producers that are like, what are you guys doing now? And it's so hard, like in our daily lives, like we can just keep our head down and we can focus on what we're doing, but when you have somebody else like, tell us what you're doing and explain what you're doing and what's happening now. Oh, you seem upset, what's going on, talk to us about it. Actually, I don't want to talk about it because I'm just trying to get through this, and you pushing is making it worse. So anytime you would see Lenore, and I never want to say arguing, but it's like it was clearly pushed by something or someone, not because of our friendship. And people have asked me too, like, are you and Lenore like still friends?
Yeah, people ask me that all the time.
Are you guys like closer now? And I'm like, we actually insisted when we were there that our rooms be side by side in the hotel. They tried to separate us first. And it's just like we had breakfast together like almost every single day, and we like saw each other, like we went shopping, we saw shows together. Like there was absolutely at no point, and like if anything did happen, we would talk about it after. Like,
it was very much a marriage.
It was very much a marriage. Like let's sit down and talk about what just happened.
Don't go to bed angry. I think we always text each other, I'm going to sleep now, good night. Love you. Right. And we would have time to talk, like always. We would get back to the hotel if we had a bad day, or we felt like we had a bad bake, and we're like, gotta get this makeup off my face. That was always my first step. And while I'm washing my face, I'm calling my husband, and I'm like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then Jess said this, and then I said this, and then this happened, and this happened, and I think there was one time I'm like, I don't think they're my friends right now. She was really mad at me, and James was like,
I was never mad.
Talk to her. He's like, why are you calling me? Talk to her.
It was so much outside pressure, like, you know, and that's what what you don't see when you're watching this. And I know they're going to clip it in a certain way that's going to make it look like we're just, I was friggin' about to drop kick you or something, which is not the case. I know. And, you know, even if it did came back, we were literally fine as soon as we just talked about it. You know, we just had to talk it out and be like, listen, I'm not actually mad. I was saying this because A, B, and C. It's not because I thought you didn't know what you were doing, and I know that you know what you're doing. It was just I was feeling the pressure of the show, and like people were asking me what's going on. They wanted me to say certain things, and for them to leave me alone, I said certain things. You know, so however they release it on the show, I just want everybody to know that Lenore and I are still very much friends.
Very much so. Very much so. And more than anything, I mean, TV can be hard.
TV is hard.
Everybody was just trying to do their job.
Yeah.
Get the best story for y'all.
Yeah.
To watch and be entertained.
Yeah.
Which I love that for you. I mean, personally, I think Jess and I are plenty entertaining, even just
what more do you want from us?
Without any prompting, coaching.
I was saying things that nobody asked for the amusement of others, to my own degradation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? And eventually it ended up being fine. We were surrounded by incredible people. Yeah. Like from sound to story producers to, I was going to say craft services, but that was not true. You ever had a cooked vegetable? Not me.
That was intense. I was like, why is this broccoli
raw? Potatoes
it's
raw.
Straight
rice,
out of the ground.
Raw dry and
it's
unseasoned.
It's not good for your stomach to try and digest something like that. Okay.
All of our tummies were telling the tale.
One thing that I am surprised about talking about eating is how I thought they would show how many snacks we made. We were constantly making snacks.
Bro,
they
freshly
had that
squeezed orange juice
freshly
in the fridge
squeezed
whenever
juice
you
and
wanted.
all the fresh fruit you could think of was already in the fridge because they wanted to make sure whatever you could possibly think of that you're making would be available for you. And I'm like, we don't need this whole container of fresh strawberries. So
we're not even making anything with strawberries today.
Should we just eat them?
Shall we make some strawberry lemonade?
Yes,
sounds
absolutely.
good.
We should. And it kept my sugar levels up, which were good. Because there would be times where we would be there for like 4 hours before we had anything to eat. And I'm the type of girly where it's like I need to be snacking every hour to an hour and a half. Yeah. So that was, having the little snacks here and there. And we tried, and I want everybody to understand, we tried everything that we presented to the judges. There was never anything that we gave to the judges where we were like, I wonder what that tastes like. Like everything we had tasted, we did know what it was like, and we were very happy with it.
We might not have been able to try everything together, which is story of our lives, right? We're not making you a cake and then like cutting a slice out to see what it tastes like. But there are ways to like get around and like build a little mini version. We built a mini Charlotte Russe.
We did build a mini
did not set up in the fridge and did not have gelée on it, but we ate it all together. We're like, this eats well.
Flavors are good.
This is what we want it to taste like. But then a lot of other times we're just making little snacks. Yeah, because we love snacks. Cake sandwich, we ate that.
Cake sandwich, a lot of cake sandwiches. Yeah,
we didn't have a tart.
No,
we only did 6. But we ate pears.
We did have pears.
And we tasted the jelly.
That jelly was spot on.
Ooh, I do have a sore spot. I have a sore spot about that tart. The tart shell is eating a bit dry. It's actually just well baked.
It says well baked.
It's just well baked. That's all.
It was funny because she's like, the tart shell is eating a little bit dry.
And then Curtis said
the fringe are like, pick a line here, pick a story. What do you?
Literally can't. But it shows up how subjective tasting is.
Yes, that's the thing. Is like every time we presented something to Joel, he would just be like,
"This is delicious.
This is really good." you know. And that's one thing about like Joel. Like I didn't know too much, obviously, a lot about him, but I knew that I thought he was very attractive, and I'd watched him on Community, and I knew him as an actor, but I didn't realize how much of a foodie he is. Yeah. Like he genuinely loves food, meat in particular. But you see his Instagram, and he actually has a huge appreciation for it, which is very nice, because a lot of time you can see these judges that actually don't know anything about food. Yeah. But he was just a guy that's like, I just love to eat, and he would eat like everything. I'm like, that is your stomach, and finish it. You know, if it was good, obviously, but he would just eat it all, and like that was also nice. Even if we went up and it was kind of like a tough judging or whatever, Joel would eat it all.
Yeah,
he would eat it all.
This is so good. You're like,
thanks,
so
Joel.
Nice.
Thanks,
Joel.
So nice. Yeah.
Anyway, obsessed. So there we are. 2 episodes aired.
Yes.
1 definitely coming this week. After that, we can't tell you anything, but
can't say anything.
We'll see. I'm glad I did it.
Me too. That was a long pause.
I'm leaving the pause in.
No, I had an amazing time there with you. And it was also nice to kind of, as much as I missed my husband, I missed my son, it was nice to kind of have that step away from the business and the craziness of life and just do something, I don't want to say selfish, but something that was like, just for us, you know, and have a good time and like, you know, it was, and do what we love, you know, so I was, you know, more than happy. And we ate so well. We were in Toronto. We ate so well.
I can't even remember the name of the sushi Mexican place.
Oh my gosh, that was good. The dumplings. Dumpling. Oh,
so many delicious things. Thai.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, same.
I need some more of these chocolates.
I had a cheese string.
You gotta eat more for breakfast, dude.
I had a cheese string and a bag of M&Ms.
I think I might stop for a Booster Juice on the way to work today. Yes.
I love Booster Juice.
I love Booster Juice.
Booster Juice, will you sponsor us?
Yeah, Booster Juice sponsor us. We love smoothies.
We got smoothies after we went on Mike Farwell a couple weeks ago.
It was very good. You know what was disappointing? That beaver tail.
No.
It was bad.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
It was probably the worst beaver tail I've ever had.
Stop.
Was it tasted old.
Like the oil was old.
The oil was old.
Oh no!
So that was disappointing.
Did you call them?
No, I didn't call them.
You should change your fryer oil.
Yeah, I should have.
Homegirl was there alone. There's
she was there alone.
Very little that she could have done.
When was the last time you made a beaver tail in here? Because it was like a Monday. What day was of the week was it? It was just Wednesday.
Was it a Wednesday? Probably Thursday.
Wednesday or Thursday. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, not roasting beaver tails right now because I love beaver tails.
Sure.
I've had some delicious ones.
Yeah. You do need clean oil though.
Yes, you do.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. The booster juice was delicious.
The booster juice was delicious. Well, I'm so glad that we were on a TV show together and that we had a good time together so far. And then our most embarrassing episode is yet to come. It's very exciting about that. And if you're not following along on Crime Scene Kitchen, if you're not able to watch it on Fox on Thursday nights at 9:00, that's okay because you can watch it on CTV. 9 p.m. on Friday.
You can download the app on your phone.
You can download the app on your phone. If you want to download an app, you can stream it from your computer, ctv.ca. I think the streaming comes out on Saturday as opposed to Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to stream it, check on Saturday. We will never post a spoiler on our social media pages, whether or not we got through. We will post that we were on an episode or post something fun from that episode, but never a spoiler because sometimes people want to binge things and they want to wait till the entire season's over.
Yeah, wait until it's all out or just kind of,
whatever your choices may be. We'll let you know when Will we let you know when we leave? No, I guess not. We just said we're not going to post any spoilers.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just have to keep watching.
You just have to keep watching.
That's it.
And enjoy.
That's it.
Yeah.
You can enjoy all of our quirky clips and wardrobe. I actually want to do a wardrobe breakdown because people have been asking, where did you get that first outfit from?
Yeah, I've noticed the comments on your... Yeah.
Where did you get, is this from this place? Sure is the person asking. Aussie, is that an Aussie Dangerfield dress I see?
Oh.
That's my mama Jan.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, Jan from Jan and Ross Giorgio. Sion is who I met at Hotel Cafe Royal, where Curtis and Kieran we all worked at that same hotel. Not at the same time. Yeah, I met Cece on my first day of work and was like, are we going to be best friends? She was like, I think we are. And that was it. We were best friends. So yeah, that was Mama Jan. She's real cute. They're watching in Australia. She's really sweet. Okay, I think that's it. I don't have anything else.
No, that's it for today. Until our next episode, we're off to bake our dreams into reality. Success is the icing on the cake.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to this episode of Bakes in a Box.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Have any questions or want us to talk about a specific topic, baking, business, or life? Send us an email at bakesinaboxpod@gmail.com.
Find these details and more in today's show notes.